you. Look at this. It's so lovely in here. Okay, I'm gonna change something up. First of all, look at this one. That's really Rudy. Look at the roses. Holy crapazoid. This is a beauty. It's mini and mighty. Today we are going to the Green Thumb Nursery, which is my most favorite wholesale nursery in all of Los Angeles. And we are picking up the plants that I've already picked. Good morning. So my client let me pick these because I've already done it with her so many times. But I know what she likes. I gave her a heads up, like, do you want this to be eclectic? Would you rather it be a little more buttoned up? The first time around we did these containers, we used the same plant and a little bit of around the edge. This time she said, no, I want to go totally juicy and a little bit chaotic. Don't have to say that to me 2 times. But the yard is really pretty. And we're gonna go on a day that her gardener is there working with me, because we are gonna go through also, and she wants to pull some plants that have gotten too big. So she wants me to tell him which plants we're gonna get rid of. So we got that going too. It's, what do you call that? Whipped cream. We're doing the whipped cream now.
Putting the cherry on top.
Exactly. Surrey with the fringe on top. Do you know that song?
No.
My Fair Lady. Do you know that play?
No.
You've never heard of My Fair Lady?
I know My Fair Lady, but I've never seen it.
Shit, how old am I?
Let the people know what you got to get some money.
Okay, so when you work with the nursery, if they really are extra nice to you, when you tip. So I can't go empty-handed because for the last 2 days I've been going empty-handed and said, I'll get you, I promise. So I will do that. I gotta do that. Born again weirdo.
You too, huh?
Huh?
You too, huh?
A born again weirdo?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say about me?
Yeah, you are, aren't you?
I don't know. I think I was not born again. I think I just came that way.
Delivered from the weird factory.
Exactly. I came delivered from the weird womb into the weird world. And I mean weird world. I just want to show you one thing. Can I just say one thing? If anyone wants to know what you never do in your garden, let's just pull over and look right here. Does this look at all welcoming up that driveway? This is what you don't do. I mean, you can't even get in the driveway, look. I mean, into the thing. You gotta literally. Right? Definitely not good shui. I'm just saying.
Roasted.
Crushed.
Just drive by a garden roast from Alicia here.
If I could, I'd do a garden intervention with the whacker. Shape those all up.
Maybe you should.
I know.
Do a little pro bono work.
Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, folks.
Woo, green thumb.
Green thumb, look at these plants. Come on, you just drive in here and feel good. My stuff is right in this room. These ones in the front, these 4 are sun. This is all shade.
It's okay.
Take a whiff of this, though. Just put your nose in there.
What is this one?
Heliotrope.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that lovely?
Can't see it when you're moving it.
Is it a still camera?
No, it's a video.
So why can't you see it when you're doing that?
Oh, because it's moving too.
Put the fatties in first. Look at this juicy. Isn't that lovely? Fatties. Look at those buds.
Look good.
This is the Virginia, the Vagina Virginia. All right, look at these flippin' beauties. I am in love with you. Is this thing on? Because I have a few things to say. Got my Wandering Jews. My Wandering Jew's gonna sit right next to my Virginia Vaginas. I can tell a story. There was a Wandering Jew that went looking for her Virginia Vagina. And she found him. Would you like to come in? Come on, hop on.
Oh, I can go in the back.
You want
I think so. Can you have a ride? Oh, no.
Wouldn't kick her out of bed, I'll tell you that.
Oh, sweet, man. You wouldn't probably kick Zach out of bed.
Firmly planted. If you want. All right, brother.
You can use it. Look at these, got huge.
Yeah, you do.
How much is a 15-gallon maple?
250, 300.
I'm hanging over here, Zach. Huh?
You got a haul.
I got a haul, the long haul. I'm in for the long haul. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm in for the long haul. Okay, we're off to Calabasas. Come on. Look at those shrimps, wow. You see those shrimps in there? So pretty. Apples for days. See, everybody gets their plants from here. Plant rentals. So good.
Sweet.
I know, it's so good.
Getting everything set up.
Well, these are the sunny stuff that's gonna go in the backyard. So let's just walk here first and I'll show you what I'm doing today. It's chilly. Did I hog the whole spot? No, kinda. So, but this is what we're gonna do today, and I can't do anything without him because I can't get these out on my own. We're pulling these out. These big Durantas are coming out, and we're gonna do the boxes. She got some yard art. She's got all kinds of stuff in here. It's lovely. It's so small and compact and fabulous.
Somebody asked where you recommend getting yard art from.
I would say there's a bunch of places really, and I'd go visit like SWAT meets because you can put all kinds of stuff in your yard that doesn't necessarily have to be yard art. But I would definitely suggest a place in Los Angeles called Jackalope. They have beautiful fountains and yard art and stuff like that. I'd go on Amazon too and put in yard art. At least you'll know kind of what you're looking for, and then you get an idea and you can look locally for once you see.
About like art fairs or something.
Yeah, like you can do that. You know, I mean, obviously art fairs are going to be more expensive, but stuff like bells and balls and glass balls, you know, if you have a cover, you can do a lot more than if you don't have a cover. But you know, here she's got rabbits and kitty cats and all kinds of stuff. Do you want to go in the backyard and take a look there before we...
Sure.
Look at this place, right? It's really pretty in here. Look at the roses. Holy crapazoid. Oh, I'm happy they left to go out of town and left all the covers off their furniture. Isn't this lovely? This is a beauty. It's mini and mighty. Right? Look at the magnolia. Holy shit balls. That is gonna just be fire. The trees coming back into life. The round, we love the round stepping stones and the round hot tub. It just is so vibey. It's so lovely. So this is going to come out today. The pittosporum and the salvia has taken over the magnolia. I mean, you know, you start with one thing and then as they grow, they just take over. So we're gonna really get in here, cut this down, take this out. Today we're gonna pull out the salvia, this giant, gorgeous bush, because it's literally crushing the magnolia. So we're gonna trim up the pittosporum to here. We're gonna pull out the salvia, and we're gonna give it a little bit more room to grow. Our espaliered magnolia could use a little haircut too, but it's looking fab. These are kind of cool too. These are Japanese privet, also known as yew. Yew.
What is that?
Yew. It's Japanese privet, they call it. And the whole idea was to hide this air conditioner back here. And when they started here, I said to her, give it a minute, I promise. And she was like, really? Because you can barely, now you don't even know they're there, that the air conditioner is there.
It's a good idea.
Thank you. Full of good ideas. Brigina. Oi. Out with the old, in with the new. Love it. One. If we can fit it in here, we can pull that out, yeah. I mean, she wants to have that actually more. This is the other place. She said we should cut this, which I think is so pretty. I like that idea. Oh, this smells so good. Right on. I can't believe the weeds in here. Boy. Look at that. Those are ridiculous.
What are those?
Campanula. They are a beautiful shade dweller. You don't usually they're a ground cover. You don't usually see them this long and big and gorgeous. And the heliotrope, which smells so good. So all of these are perfectly shade developed for the goodness of it all. So pretty. So I am going to, hold on, use we certainly don't want those in here eating up our garden. It's ligustrum, and I'm gonna pull out some of the ligustrum so that it's not choking anything else in here. Plus, my beautiful heliotrope will get all tall, and so we don't need any of this. In the middle, I'm gonna keep it because we can connect it up in here. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna do that on this side. Let me do a little on this side. Take off our albino ligularia. Okay, you see how good that looks? Now we can start letting it rip. Pull them out after wait, let me see. I think I'm gonna use the Brigina, my Brigina up in here. 1, 2. 1, 2. Which I'm not gonna put there yet, just making sure it works, which it will. We're gonna change the whole vibe here. Do I have 2 more of those? You see how and then I do them, each one, and then I see how it looks, and I'll pull them all out, and I'll say, damn, that's good. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. I'm gonna start by putting in my biggest plant, which I only have 1 5-gallon per container. And it is the heliotrope. Pull all that out. Boy. Okay, let me see. Let's see what we got in here. I'm just seeing is it so big? So we're regrouping on this because it was already here. So I'm gonna take my little knife, hold on, get my tools of the trade, and get down to some business. Okay, so we gotta be gentle in here because there's so much crap on the ground that you gotta watch where you walk. So first I'm gonna dig a nice hole in this beautiful dirt to put my 5-gallon. So I'm gonna give myself some room. Okay. Okay, so this, oh shit, ski. See, if I use my little knife, then I cut off all the root balls that are in here. And they just kind of come up. The good news in a pot like this is you always want to see worms. Worms, oops, are a good sign in the garden, always. Now there's different kinds of worms, but those little creepy crawlies are a good sign. Okay, so I'm gonna flop this over here. First I beat it like so. And then I gently toss. I always take off the bottom just to give it a little room to open its root balls. Whoopee. Boom. Okay, I want to make sure that the tall is like that. There you go, that's perfect. You see that? Now I'm going to bury it a little. Doesn't have to be buried fully yet, but I just want to make sure it's in. It's my centerpiece. It's in. See that? I could trim a little more of this, but I'll wait a minute. But that's where exactly how I wanted it. I want it to be in the middle, kind of floppy, kind of over. My next important ones, which I'm gonna put right up next to it, are 1 gallons, and they're a bit of a hangover. So I'm just gonna make 1 hole on this side and 1 hole on this side. I'm gonna kind of stuff them a little closer together than I would if they were in the ground, because this is a container that we want to look like it's been there for a minute or two. I'm also gonna take the really fatty one and put it on this side because it's a little more open. Beat that again. Take that, kind of free up the bottom. I just take the bottom and I kind of just do like that, just to get the roots off. See how rooty it is? They get root bound in the container, so the bottom at least, I'm gonna save this so she'll know what she has. In 1 minute, I'll put it back. But the bottom is open now, and I want this to be hanging out of the container. So before I put it in, I'm gonna turn it around, decide how it goes, and I know how it goes, and I'm gonna kind of go like this. I want these to be over as much as they can here. So the white goes in next to the purple. It all kind of goes together. It smells so delicious with this heliotrope. Is lovely. So you know too, heliotropes are the oldest plant in the history of plants. Actually, the first one I think was purple. They might have hybrid the whites. But if you know what a flower fairy is, flower fairies are always holding heliotrope. I love flower fairies and I love heliotrope. I'm gonna take this other campanula filled with a shit ton of buds. So good. So these also can grow in lots of shade, so we're not gonna worry. Take the bottom of that one, kind of just pinch at it a little. It's really not too root bound if you can do that. Just pull the bottom off. Sometimes you have to cut the bottom. I'm gonna put this, so this is also, I'm gonna hang this like this so I know just how it's hanging. And I'm gonna set it right in here, like so. See that? Make sure I get the front all buried up. I'll put some more clean dirt on it too, but now, look at that. Look how pretty. That is just, on its own, is lovely. Okay, then my next one that I'm gonna use in here is my ligularia, and I'm gonna definitely use it because these get huge. So I'm gonna use them as bookends. I'm gonna use one in this container and one in this container, and I'm gonna put them at the end so they look like there's a story just starting in this little, I'm gonna pull this out. Now see how root bound that was? This is not gonna be as easy, but they're wet, so they are a little easier. But you see how rooty those get? Roots, completely ripped roots. So I'm gonna put these, I always look which direction I'm putting it in. I'm gonna put that in. This is kind of a corner story. I am gonna move it up a little bit, and the reason is because of this ligustrum is gonna come flopping forward sooner than later. There's that. We can open these, but they get like dinner plates. So there's that there. I'm going to use this. This is not too root bound at all. I'm still gonna pinch.
What is this one?
This is called heuchera. Heuchera is beautiful plant, and it's not really about the flowers. It's more about, the flowers are sort of insignificant, but these leaves are gorgeous and they get big. And I can stuff them in here at the edge. See that? You see the story we got going here. So I'm gonna use 2 heucheras. One on this side. A quick pinch on this. So you know what? If you can't pinch it off, another way to do it is just a little separation. You see that? Then you open it up and things can start grooving, moving and grooving. I'm gonna push it back a little. See that? No matter where you put that, it's still gonna tell a story because it's so pretty colored. And then at the end, I'm gonna use my Wandering Jew. Okay, I'm gonna change something up. First of all, look at this one. That's really rooty. So I'm not gonna yank this too much. I'm gonna just do this. Right. See how they just start wrapping around the pot? It was like this. Now I just open that up a little.
You just hold it right
You could cut that if you wanted to, because it's just completely rooted up. But I'm gonna put one in here. I think I'll move it over a little bit. Hold on. You see that? So what I'm gonna do on this side, I'm gonna move my heuchera that I already planted, and I'm gonna move it back a little because I got my Wandering Jews in here.
So you don't mind planting them and pulling them up again?
No, they're not even really buried yet. So, and now I leave a little room for my Wandering Jew. See that? It's such a short distance that I'm not gonna rip the bottom off because there's barely too much to rip anyway. And I'm gonna look at that, and I want my hangovers. You see that? How pretty is that? I'm gonna turn this a little. And once it gets, I'm gonna put some more dirt and some more food after I get to my second one. That is really pretty. Wait till it takes. Lots of hangover, lots of middle, all the things we want. I'm gonna do the exact same story on this side. Now this one, it grows a little bit different because this one is a little bit shadier. So they're never gonna grow exactly the same. As you can see, that one has already morning sun. Morning sun, you can put shady plants in morning sun. You cannot put shady plants in afternoon sun. Look at that, a big piece. Somebody must have, like a bird, brought the Nana Ruscia over here. We can just put this right back and use it again. So now this is for my center, which is my heliotrope. I'm gonna turn it upside down, beat on it a little. Ooh, she came out the birth canal. This one I'm gonna yank a little. It's not as, ooh, there's my thing. See that? I'm gonna turn it around to see where the middle is. I want the tall in the center and the hangover. Okay, I'm gonna go a little deeper on my hole. Oh, boom. Okay, so there's that. That's nice and centered in there. Just kinda gonna zhuzh this around to put it in. I'm gonna put my one big ligularia that is a takeover, so I'm gonna make sure it's over in the corner. Okay, so as you can see, this one's already well started. So this one should take beautifully. Bang it around a bit, beat it up. I turn it upside down. Do you think that was time to get out of the thing? Look at that.
Yeah, she's ready.
She's ready and ripping. I'm gonna try to, this can't really pull too much. Do the bottom, zhuzh. See that? I'm just kind of ripping it. Give it its center so everything can kind of come through the middle. I'm looking around which way. I would consider this the front. I'm gonna put this right over here. Okay, there's that. Now I'm gonna put in my two campanulas that are right next to, each one will be next to this. So where's my these? I'm gonna put the prettier one that's already started blooming on the outside, like towards this garden. Here I go. There's that, it's not too bad. I'm gonna do it right over here. Oopie, got the top. I'm gonna turn it around a little so I see where is where. This is here, see that? I'll keep the tag and I'll use it again. Put them all in there so she can see them. Okay, so that one's in. See, these can get all pretty and together because you'll always be able to know which is which. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna start stacking my cups. And I'm gonna take the other campanula, which is quite big. Doesn't have blooms on it, but it's lovely with loads of tubies. The tubies. Turn this. See, so these get a lot of slugs around them. You see that slug? These kind of plants, especially shade plants, there's even one right there. I'm gonna knock those bad boys right off. Look at that sluggaroo. Sorry, bud. We don't plant those in there. I guess this one I can squeeze a little too. Filling her up. Lord, lift me up. Okay, I'm gonna turn it which way. I gotta be careful with these because they get a little stiff and they will break. So I don't wanna be too rough. Some plants you can really, manipulate. Some you gotta be extra careful. Put this one in here like so. Lift them and I'll separate them already. Give myself a little room for my heuchera. Zhuzh that a little. I'm gonna pinch. Room for roots. Roots Rock Reggae. And I'm gonna put this right in here with this. We're gonna need some soil in here, but we got it. And then my last one is gonna be my Wandering Jew on this side. Oh. Another thing about Wandering Jews, you can see if it gets too much sun or too much water, it gets very easily crusty. So this is a little root bound. I'm just gonna zhuzh. Gotta be gentle on these, they break easy. Once they're in and established, they're hardy. But until that moment, last one. Like I said, with these you gotta be a little more gentle because it's such a skinny little thing, I'm not gonna start yanking the bottom. But I'm gonna make sure this is the hangover. So there's lots of goodness in this one. It's lots of texture, some flowers, some color. I'm gonna go over to this lily that is underneath here that I've been stepping on. Ooh, excuse me. See how wet this is, you guys? This is how you know there's just too much water in here. These things are like wobbly, you see that? That shows you they're just getting way too much water.
Should be like celery, right?
Yeah, it should be stiff. A stiffy, it is far from a stiffy. So we know that this is just getting, plus you can look at the soil, it's really black. Okay, so I am going to use my potting soil. I'm going to use a container. I use my 1 gallon container. If I can, and I go into this. I'm gonna fill this up with all kinds of goodness. I start here and I work my way around. I will move it back, put it in, make sure it's all getting planted in there. I'm gonna just make sure it's all, see, I move them around, I get room like this. Make sure everything's potted up, touched with dirt, so everything's covered. So you just gotta maneuver and manipulate these things. You know, you can push on them. You gotta be gentle, but you also can have a firm hand because they are alive, but they are hardy. Make sure all the root balls are covered. Oh my God, that heliotrope is delicious. Stoned on heliotrope. I'm gonna lift, as you can see, come here. There's holes in here, you see that? It's not buried. So I'm gonna fill in the holes, push it up near the root ball. There's this all up in here. Go all the way across on the front, make sure it's all buried. And I zhuzh this forward. The other thing I like to do is fold my bags so I can get in there. The more you roll it down, easier it is to just kind of fill the cup. My cup runneth over. So I'm gonna get back in here, make sure all my backs are covered. This is really the key, you guys. If the dirt is not hitting all the root balls, they're exposed, they will dry, they won't take the water properly. Okay, it's starting to look pretty. It's looking fabulous. And once it settles in and this starts falling, it'll look even more fabulous. So this one, as soon as I feed it and water it, is actually finito. Take my bag and my thing and go over to this one. I'm gonna move what he's gonna plant here so I don't have to step on it. And I'm gonna start over on this side. Smells so nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna zhuzh around in here. I think most of these are pretty buried. I don't wanna bury the irrigation lines. There's a few of them, they're all around here. Here's one. He'll use these things and staple them down like that. Make sure that it's all a little bit detangled, because if we let this start like this, it will get everywhere. So we're gonna detangle like this a little. This heliotrope will come up in here. Smells so nice. So we use some really good shady plants all throughout here. Like the fringe plant is a good shady plant. The tea tree plant can have some shade, that's a good one. The hebe can take some good shade. And all throughout here are plants that can take shade. I also want to show you, if you turn around, this lovely ground cover called Ceanothus. Usually needs more sun, but you can see it standing straight up, and it's getting enough dappled light to keep it happy. So dappled light is always good. These don't need blasting sun, but if they have enough of the dappled. So in here, because it is shady, I'm using a lot of plants with leaf and texture. Because it's not so sunny, we'll do better with this kind of vibe in here. Plus, I always feel like it's a little more sophisticated as opposed to a load of chaotic flowers. Speaking of chaos, okay, so now we want to feed and water. Black Gold, Texas tea. I love this stuff. Great balls of joy. So with a slow release, like anything else good in life, if it's too fast, it's a flash in the pan. If things are a slow release, they're really good. Life, love, work, if anything's too fast, furious, and fabulous, you could be fucked. But if you take your time and it's a slow release, it's joyful. So Osmocote is a slow release, and that is why I love it. Because it gives exactly what it needs, as opposed to a lot of them that the minute they hit water, they start giving too much. Has its own little container in there. I'm gonna go right over to these, and I'm gonna just go like this, shake it up. I'm gonna get these underneath here too that we just planted, the fringe plant. And you can't overdose because it is a slow release. The Brugina vagina we did. The heuchera could use a hit, I'm sure. This one's already starting, come here. So you see, this is what this is a native California lilac called Ceanothus. And I love this one because it looks like an egg to me. Give it some extra goodness. There's some whatcha-facies back here, hydrangeas. I never really think they're that good, but they're still there. They're not lovely, but they're still there. I'm gonna feed them. Maybe they'll have a chance. Feed the euphorbia and the black mondo. Come in here and feed all of this fiesta grass, the hebe. Into the water pot. So, container gardening, there is an art to it. It must be checked regularly because containers only have a certain amount of room. If they're not draining properly, if they're not getting enough water, if the dirt's too high and choking the plant, all of that matters. So, this plant and this plant are two problem areas. As soon as I got here, I spotted. This one, the water hose was down on the ground. So this water hose, I just lifted it. I'm putting it back in here, putting that so it's this way. This was not getting any water, and it looks like it was not getting any water, as opposed to this one right here. This one, you can see, This is like splashing around. That's just way too much water. That is drowning. This one has none, this one has too much. They're right next to each other. So what I think we can assume on this one is that it's clogged because there is holes in the pot. You never use a pot that does not drain. There are holes and rocks even at the bottom of these pots. So it makes me know that there's a root or something stuck in the hole and it's just flooding. So I'm so glad we saw this today. He's gonna pull everything out and, you know, make sure it's drained. And this one we just put back. So we'll keep checking on these, but no, if nobody saw this, this guy would be drowned and this one would be completely the opposite and choked to death. Somebody's got to check on the children. Yeah, I mean, there are some rocks in there, but I don't even know. This one is bone dry, my friend. Its sister is bone dry and the other one's soaking wet. Pots are a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I love them, but they need a lot of work.
Maybe need other.
Another emitter?
I think so.
You think so? I mean, that's a load of water, but maybe it isn't. Look at the difference in sizes.
Yeah.
Because that one's so happy with
I have my tools. Maybe I can just
poke it.
Yeah.
Good. Is it? Like, is it? So all of this should bloom like all summer long now. And literally now that we just put that container in, she'll have like a facelift in this garden. She needed that so much because the other ones were getting a little bit crusty. Nothing lasts forever in a container, ever. So if you're gonna use containers, you gotta keep up with them. Either you whack them down or you pull them out, but they all need to continually have some zhuzh. So we started this morning at 6:30 a.m. It is 11:15. What we accomplished today, we got to the nursery by 7. We picked up our plants. We ate oatmeal and a burrito off the Roach Coach. Then we came to Calabasas. We came in here. We assessed what was here. We pulled out, we met her gardener here. We showed him what we wanted to do. He pulled out all the durantas that were in these containers. We replanted 2 beautiful containers in her front yard. Whole new vibe up there. We brought things to plug in the star carpet with, which he's going to do because her star carpet is growing in shade. So it needs a little bit of extra love on a regular basis. We plug it in, kind of. We keep bringing them and doing plugs, kind of like men do with their toupees. They plug them in. So we did that. We filled in a few places and we pulled out in a few places because it's now spring going into summer. Some of her stuff was choking to death. So we pulled out some stuff all over that was like too big and that we couldn't even keep up with to trim. And so now we are starting on such a good foot at the beginning of May. Today's the 2nd of May, which happens to be my son's birthday. And we're ready for summer. I mean, now we've fed, we've aired, we've cleaned, bring it on. Okay, so if you like what you saw today, you liked, you learned, you listened, you loved, hit us up, subscribe, follow, ask any kind of questions you want, ask about the plants, anything you need to know, let me know, ask. Thanks for joining us, starting an early day today. We like to start early, finish early. We are those people. So we just saying, peace out, people, and thank you.